In this video, traders, I'm going to look at Forex charts, and to find out which waves they're in, we are going to do some quick 10-second Elliott wave analysis, which markets we are most likely going to trade this week. So let's begin. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you get notification every time there's a new video. So first off, we have Euro USD. You are looking at the daily chart. So I've been talking about it a lot. First we had the pandemic, then it moves back, then it goes sideways. We have some kind of a wave going on. Long-term positions are running from here. It might come down and do a C down. It looks like it's some kind of an A, B, and a C down here. But what we see right now is we have a green candle followed by a red, and then a green and a red. So we have a green day, a red day, green day, and red day, which is not really going to produce a very strong move up. So if you look at this chart here, when it was moving up, you had a green after green after green. Even if there was like one red here and then it started going up, it would still be nice. But when you have green, red, green going on, this is still predominantly the signs of basically price going sideways. So around here, this is that range that's forming, and internally inside that range, you have this range going on. So when the market was going up like so on Thursday, it looked like it probably will test those levels, but it didn't. So if we go to the 4-hourly chart, it looks pretty messy right now here because it's going sideways. Now let me take you to the hourly chart. On the hourly chart, the picture is slightly different. So because it is out of the gator, and when it was out of the box here, so this strong candle, bullish candle, produced what we call a wave 3 on the hourly chart, and the next day, which is the red candle, produced that sideways market. So if I mark this over here, I'm going to put the line on this, so it's going to appear between these two. If I go to the hourly chart, what you see is that this one day created this wave 3, as you can see here, and then it pulls back, but the pullback was quite impulsive, so it didn't really create a beautiful sideways wave 4. But then the day after, it created what I call a setup 0 into the wave 5, which is a beautiful trade anybody could have taken. But instead of this, when we go to the Swizzy chart, you will know that instead of taking this, we've actually taken Swizzy. And the reason we took Swizzy is because it's almost the inverse of the euro dollar, but the setup on the Swizzy was far better, as we will see when we get to it. So what we see now for the next week is that it is in a mild uptrend, but in a sideways up there. So we don't know if it is going to do a wave 4 on the daily chart. And if it does that, we probably will have some setups on the hourly chart anyway. Right now, what we see on the hourly chart is you have a 3, 4, and a 5. So we have a 3 down as well, which could form probably a setup 1 here. Maybe it goes sideways throughout Monday, and then it creates another setup here. Or because what you can see towards the end of Friday, it's been kind of created a half of uptrend as well, so it can also kind of go sideways and create another move up. So predominantly, if you consider this as an uptrend on the daily chart, you'd be looking for a long setup, but it is not really a beautiful setup. So I will watch it, what it does at the open tomorrow. Let's go to the next chart, which would be the pound dollar. So let's go to the weekly chart first. So on the weekly chart, you see this year has been a little bit crazy up there, followed by kind of a recovery from it. But I still see a very strong 1 down and a 2 up, because this is ABC, and that's the PC pattern. If you don't know what a PC pattern is, please search my channel for what is PC, and you'll probably find one. Otherwise, if you're a member of AIMS, then there is even a book on it. This was one of the setup that I took on the 8th of July, and it was a pretty good setup that went up. The reason for taking that was, if you come to the daily chart, what you see is on this day, the 7th of July, price actually broke out of this box and closed outside. And once this closes outside above the gate and everything, I am in the bullish mode for that currency. If you come to the 4-hour chart, what you see is that price is creating a wave 3 and then a pullback around here, and then this allowed me to actually have, so I take my trades on the hourly charts, all of them, and I want to be in it for that day or probably one day later. So on this one, we took it here, took half the profits around here, and then we trailed the box, took the other half there. It was a beautiful trade that happened. I could have taken this as well, and I would have targeted these levels, but I didn't, or did I? So what is happening right now? So what we see is a 3 and a 4. This is quite possible that it might do another 5, so I will put this on my watch list. This can produce, it looks like it's going down towards the end of the day, but if it kind of goes sideways, let's say up to London Open around here, then it could produce an M30 or an M15 setup 1. So we will look out for this at the Frankfurt Open to see if it can do that. And if it goes further down during the Asian session, then that means it's not going to do that thing anymore. So we'll see if it happens. It might even create a setup 1 for us on the M15 or M30 charts. Next one, let's look at the dollar yen. So the dollar yen has been very, very sideways for the past 3 months, but it has produced some setups on the 4-hour chart. Like this is one of the setups that was created on the 4-hour charts, but it wasn't really, it didn't have any flow. It didn't really go further down. Let me show you that. So this is the 3 down, and then you have this 4. So it comes over here. Yeah, so we took it short from here, and then we got exited. We exited here because we trailed the box, and around here I had moved my stop loss to break even, so this hit it, and after hitting the break even it went on and hit the target point. So if you look at the target zone 1 and we draw it here, it didn't quite hit it, but it was still here. It would have hit my 2-hour target, which was 40 stop loss and 80 target point very easily, but these things happen, that's fine. So on the 4-hour chart, what we see that it has broken below this sideways market here, and it's broken down and coming back up, so could produce something on the hourly chart. Let's look at the hourly chart. So what do we see is that during Friday Asian session, I think about an hour into Tokyo session, it broke and it went down really strongly. It would have produced a setup on the H1 M5 technique that we use, would have created this for people who are in Australia and mainly the eastern side. Created something for the intraday trader here, probably on the M5, M1 chart over here. But for me, it didn't create anything unless if I had taken a short here, which I didn't because that's not the setup that I'm looking for. But what we see is that 1 to 3 day wave 3, within which you have the first 2 days kind of in the sideways market. So let's see if this market stays either sideways or kind of does something like this, and then probably we will create a setup on the M30 or the M15. Going short, you can probably take it from here and target these areas or see how it goes. So that's another one that we can look at, the dollar yen as well. Okay, so what's the next one? So the next one I'm looking at is the Swizzy chart. Let's have a look at Swizzy chart. Okay. So that's the daily chart. This is one of the trades that you are seeing that is running from the daily chart, and we took it based on this red candle. So this red candle together with this one is, well, it bounced off the box highs there, and it bounced off the red line. It created this trend candle. So I took a trade based on this and stop loss up there. Then it went further down. Now stop loss is at break even. So it is kind of diverging. It has reacted to this level. I'm thinking maybe I should have taken my profits, but we have taken half the profits here, and the rest of it is break even. So if it continued and went and hit those levels, then that would create a profitable trade. So it is nicely trending, and let me now, before I forget, show you that trade that I was talking about earlier, which was the inverse of euro dollar. It was here. So as you can see, this was a pretty good setup. You have a 3 down and a 4 up. 4 is a bit impulsive. It kind of pulled back too much as well, so it was a bit confusing as well. But if you waited for it, you have this red dot, the AIMS entry alert, V5.1. We're still using it. V5.1 has been going on since 2013 or 14 or something. No reason to change this. This is a pretty good signal. It alerts me that there is a sleeping alligator situation going on. So we have this candle, we have the purple correct, and it was sleeping gator. So you would take a short here, a stop loss up there, which is only 15 pips, and then you target those areas. I think Jasmine took this trade and she took 2R on this. Right, so what it's doing now is that it's going kind of sideways. It's predominantly downtrend on the daily chart, as you can see, but it has 2 days of price going up. We'll see if it reacts to those levels. It's already reacting to kind of these levels as well. As you can see, I really do pay attention to the highs and lows of the day, because that's where orders are, and this is price has moved away from it, so there must be a reason there. So for example, the high of this day, if you go to the hourly chart, you can see that there were some kind of sell orders that entered, and obviously they overtook the buy orders and price went down, but then the sellers took charge again and kind of ended up here. So it could produce a setup one going long, but that would be against the trend on the daily chart, so that would be a little bit iffy. And so if I take a trade on the hourly chart, I want nothing on this here, I want it clear. So as you can see, when I was going short here, that was pretty good setup. It was in the direction of the daily, and the wave count was there as well. Right now we have a 3 up, but against the trend, so we will take it with a pinch of salt. Next one, I'll look at Kiwi. So Kiwi has been in a consistent uptrend, but somewhere around the 9th of June, that strong uptrend kind of stopped, and it's still since been going sideways. If you were long from here on this blue dot signal, your stop loss would be here, you'd still be long. If you went long on this blue dot above the high of that and stop loss here, then you probably have taken half your profits here and have your stop loss at break even, and probably wait for the close on green candle. On the 4-hour chart, things are not really looking beautiful from this perspective, but if you zoom out a bit, which makes it kind of a 8-hour chart, you see a 3 and a 4, some kind of wave going on. This was the sideways, as you can see, very pronounced. These levels were, this is the bottom of wave 4. Let me mark them pretty nicely. So if you saw this, you could easily have gone long here with a 60 or 55 stop loss, and following it. This is that red dot as well, so you get the blue dot. So we have taken that on our IG account, because if you take trades on the 4-hour and the daily chart, that's another thing. We have this beautiful thing here. We can do spread betting. So my account with IG, I would take a trade with them, and we would go for a future contract. So you have a larger spread on that, but you don't pay swaps and, you know, commission and stuff like that. It's spread betting. Very good for swing or daily trading, or if you go on a weekly, then absolutely must for that, because then you don't pay those swaps every day. So recently, for a trial, we took a trade on the USD against the Turkish lira. Now the price hasn't moved anywhere, but we have paid quite a lot of swap so far, that even if that trade become profitable, the swap would have eaten all the money. So that's another thing about MetaTrader and those Forex brokers. It's a topic for another video though. Anyway, so this is the Australian dollar. Same thing, very strong recovery. It dropped quite a lot, then went up. Pretty good trades inside it. In fact, Australian dollar has been the most profitable currency pair for me this year, because it had produced quite a lot of setups that we took here, on the way down, on the way up. And now last month, same like the Kiwi, around here it kind of started going sideways, and it's still in sideways. So I will be looking for this market to break above this, and maybe even see if it breaks that level. As you can see, that's quite an historical high. So that's, you know, the high on this December. If you go back a bit, or let's just go to the weekly chart, you can see this is a very strong level. So it's like a flip zone. It comes down to it, then goes up, reacts, a lot of reaction at these levels. So quite possible that actually it starts to drop from there to this green line here, which would produce some kind of a B. So this very easily looks to me like a 3 up, and then within the 3 you have this A, B, and C. If it starts doing this C, this will bring AO back below the 0 line, and that would produce a setup 1 for us on the daily chart. And meanwhile, we would watch it. On the hourly chart, we don't really see something very beautiful here. On the hourly chart, we have a very sideways market, so I wouldn't trade this unless it breaks out of this box. So if it goes above it, I will be looking for longs. If it goes below it, and as per the daily chart analysis, if it is to go down, it will create a C wave, and inside a C wave we will have quite a lot of setups, like 1 or 2 setups on the hourly charts. So we'll see how it goes this week. The euro yen. So the euro yen is an interesting situation going on. During April and the first week of June, it went really far up, and then it produced this beautiful pin bar or a fruit candle that could have been traded all the way down here, but it did produce a setup 1 on the hourly here and here. Right now it's kind of going sideways. It's producing what I would call an A down and a B up. So that's your 3, and this also is probably going to create a setup 1 on the daily chart that goes up. Meanwhile, what you see is a strong move down on Thursday, not really strong move followed on Friday, so confusion there. If you look at the hourly chart, what you see is a very strong move down, then it goes sideways. So a really good contender. If it stays sideways maybe throughout the day tomorrow or half the day, it might produce a setup 1 for us to take it short here. So definitely going to be looking at this one. So euro pound, really good one, this one as well, because euros have been moving and the pound has been moving as well. This is what I call a Walt setup. So you have this very strong trend candle followed by a doji. This produces a beautiful setup on the hourly chart, which we call the Waltz method. And if you go to the hourly chart, what you see here is a strong 3 down, and then you have a wave 4. We took this trade. Target point was at the fib expansion 62, which is our target zone 1. Really nice trade. Let me see if I can put that on the chart. All right, the next one we're looking at is the pound yen. So the pound yen is in an interesting situation as well. Let me just delete this. So it has a 3 up and a 4 down, but it's not really a beautiful wave formation, so it doesn't really give you that much information, because this is not a very strong 3 with clear wave going on. If this is 3 and this is 4, then probably we have a 5 up, but that is not beautiful. It's not symmetrical. So on the daily chart, that's the analysis. On the 4-hour chart, we have a 3 up and probably going into a 4 sideways. So when you have market with Gator closed and price inside Gator on the 4-hour chart, I'm not even going to look at the hourly chart to take a trade, but this is showing a very clean price down here and then a clean up. So from that point of view, I'll look at the hourly chart and see what it produces here. So what we have here is a 3, 4, 5 completed up, and then we have a 3 down. This could produce a setup 1 or a setup 0 if it stays sideways, and then you could probably take it short like so over there. That could happen, but we'll see how it goes. So this is another one that I'll be looking at this week. Next one, let's look at the dollar CAD. So dollar CAD has an interesting story to tell. We have a strong 3 up, which was followed by a 4. It looked like it would probably do, around this time, it looked like it would do a wave 5 up, probably hit those levels, but it didn't. In fact, it broke down here. So once that happens, you flip your analysis, and now you're in a bear trend. So this was bearish. After that, it produced a setup here, which we took, came down to those levels. Then after that, you have this strong price reversal indication here, which was followed by a very strong day here. And then after that, it's just been going sideways. So it is boxed, as you can see, but if you have noticed, it has produced what we call a setup 1. What is a setup 1? Well, this is setup 1. So you see a price. Okay, let me just explain it properly. So you have the sideways market, and at this time it was a setup one long, but it breaks below the range. That changed everything. And then you have a strong 3 down. It produced a 3 wave. And now AO has come back to 0 line, and Gator is sleeping, and price is stuck inside a tight box. This has now become a setup one short. As you can see, you have a red dot. When you see a red dot, you look at the flow chart. For AIM setup, I have a flow chart available to the members. You look at the flow chart and you go through those few questions. It's the 3 rules. You have the red dot, you have the Gator sleeping, you have a tight box, and you have a wave 3 and a wave 4 going on. There is a chance that it might break below and go and hit target zone 1, which could probably be around these levels or these levels. So very interesting. But meanwhile, I would like it to break below this. If it breaks, I would take a short on the daily chart, and then as it kind of goes further down, like so, let me just draw it again. If it breaks further down and it kind of touches this level, around this there would be like a red candle and a green candle, or a doji, then that would produce a setup one down, but we'll see how it goes. So that's very interesting. And what else is there? So we're left with gold. Let's have a look at gold. I think I went long on gold on Friday over here. It looked very promising, but I soon realized it wasn't going anywhere. I brought my stop loss to break even and was stopped out. What's the situation on the daily chart? On the daily chart, it is in a very strong uptrend. It's broken all the records. Let's go to the weekly chart. As you can see, it's just been going up and up and up. The pandemic was just a correction for it. It came back, hit the previous wave 4, which is this one, and it started going up. It's still at the peak of it. So that means that on the hourly chart, every time you see a setup one long with a blue dot or a green dot, you would take it, and that's what I did. So I had a green dot, I went long there. If it was to do a wave 5, then it would have done it, but it didn't do it at that time. Still, it's indicating what you see here, 3, 4, 5. This is what we call the principal 5. So sometimes you have this wave 4 that produces 3, 4, 5, because wave 4 has sometimes ABCs inside it. So from that point of view, although it's pointing quite bearish right now towards the end of the day, but if it stays sideways, let's say on Monday, this is still quite ripe for a wave 5 up. So gold is definitely on the watch list. So guys, this is my Sunday analysis for Forex market, and that's what I do on Sunday. So I will look at it, and now I have, after doing this analysis, I didn't do it before, I did it right here, right now. It's just 15 to 10 o'clock UK. The market's going to open in a little bit. And so I've completed my analysis, I've taken my notes, and I have this idea now which markets we are going to trade tomorrow, or what are we expecting from those markets for the coming week. So before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do hit the bell icon so if there's a new video, you will get a notification. I used to send emails to people who are on the list about every time I uploaded a video, but I don't do that very often because that meant too many emails. So for that reason, if you stay subscribed, you'll get a notification so you don't miss these analyses. Thank you very much for tuning in. See you in the next video.